Welcome to Whispers of Healing, where we speak the unspoken, heal what's been hidden for too long, and guide your heart back to the love it truly deserves. Throughout life's journey, there are moments when it becomes strikingly evident that certain individuals should no longer be a part of our lives. Yet, even with these clear signs, many people still choose to cling to connections that slowly deplete our energy, leave us feeling confused, and cause us to lose our sense of self. The renowned author and trailblazer in personal development, Louise Hay, once observed that relationships act as a mirror, reflecting our internal state. So why is it so difficult to let go of the things that hurt us? Why do we have this desire to hold on to people who don't nourish us or help us grow? The connections we form are not random at all. On some level, they resonate with our inner wounds and beliefs. If someone is currently in a relationship that is causing pain, it's not a mere coincidence. It's a call for attention, an opportunity to look within ourselves and heal the parts that are in need of healing. This is the perfect time to genuinely question if there is truly a desire to keep this story going. One of the clearest indications that something might be wrong is feeling emotionally drained. Have you ever realized that after a conversation or interaction with a specific person, you feel down, demotivated, or unreasonably anxious? This isn't a coincidence, but rather an inner voice indicating that the relationship doesn't align with your well-being. Louise Hay mentioned that being in harmony with oneself is akin to feeling peace. In addition, healthy relationships are supposed to feel easy, natural, and without tension. There shouldn't be a need to always be on guard or to pretend to be someone else just to gain acceptance. If we have to sacrifice parts of our true selves to maintain a connection, it's an unmistakable sign of imbalance. Yet when we repeatedly find ourselves getting involved in destructive relationships, it's not merely an unfortunate coincidence. It indicates something deeper that we need to address. It is a significant call to reveal what we have been cautiously concealing deep within our souls. Now is the moment to thoroughly examine which parts of our personality are driving these continuous cycles. Aren't we seeking validation from others? Are we frozen by the fear of rejection or abandonment? Aren't we haunted by the thought that we might not deserve genuine, sincere love? All of these questions, even though they might be quite painful, hold invaluable insights about who we are deep down. There is a subtle yet widespread discomfort that emerges when what we do and what we hope for are at odds with our true inner self. It's that indescribable sensation that something isn't right, even when everything outwardly appears to be perfect. Have you ever felt something like this? You are close to a person, and while there are no open conflicts between you, something inside you rebels and does not give you peace. This is your inner compass, your most reliable guide, desperately trying to keep you from the impending pain before it becomes unbearable. As we return to the main topic, it is important to realize one key thing. We frequently confuse painful attachment with what we perceive as true love. We hold on tightly to someone, not because there's a real and genuine connection between us that is built on the foundation of unconditional love, but rather because of a deep, instinctual fear of being alone, a fear of the vast emptiness that would open up if that person were to vanish from our lives, leaving us to face that void. However, genuine love develops from the freedom to choose, not from a painful need. True love involves making a conscious decision to be close to someone rather than feeling an urgent dependence on their presence to feel whole. If just imagining life without this person fills you with fear, or if you believe everything would lose its meaning without them, perhaps it's time to pause and sincerely ask yourself, is what I'm feeling truly love? Or is it an overpowering fear? Once again, Louise Hay's wise advice lights our life path. Often people enter our lives as mirrors, showing us our unhealed wounds, deepest fears, unresolved traumas, and buried complexes. Unknowingly, we risk getting trapped in a cycle of relationships that don't heal, but worsen our suffering. Before we even consider asking ourselves if we should avoid entering into a relationship, it's essential to first pose a deeper and more transformative question to ourselves. What lessons are these relationships attempting to teach me? Maybe they reveal our fear of establishing boundaries because we dread rejection, or they highlight a desire for external validation that arises from feelings of inferiority. Perhaps they tend to an old wound of abandonment that has been waiting for years to heal. This is where the enjoyable part starts. When we start to view relationships as a mirror of our personal development, we cease blaming the other person for our misfortunes. We develop the inner strength that has always resided within us. We come to understand that it's not about altering the other person, but about deciding what we are prepared to permit ourselves and what we are ready to heal within ourselves. Ending a relationship is not a simple endeavor. The ego will employ every possible tactic: fear, guilt, and confusion. Nonetheless, when we prioritize self-love over our attachment to the other person, everything transforms. In moments of doubt, the mind starts to churn and offers us a multitude of scenarios. We begin to imagine situations where this person might change, where things could improve, or perhaps we convince ourselves that we are overreacting, that maybe the problem is actually us. However, through this thick fog of doubt, the truth emerges, clear and piercing, much like a bolt of lightning. If a relationship makes us feel worthless, embarrassed, or empty, we have reason to leave. We must find the courage within us to prioritize what truly matters and the strength to affirm to ourselves, "I deserve more and am worthy of it." Louise Hay emphasized the importance of releasing what no longer aligns with our energy. By doing so, we create space for new and improved opportunities. This principle is relevant not only in the context of romantic relationships, but also extends to friendships, social interactions, work settings, or any situation that compels us to compromise our true selves or restricts our personal growth and development. This is an unmistakable call for change. When you're in a situation where you find yourself playing a role, wearing a mask just to fit into someone else's world or to gain their approval, or when you continuously make excuses for someone whose actions hurt you, or when you sense that the relationship is more stifling than uplifting, take a moment to stop and really listen to yourself. The universe persistently sends us signs, and many times its messages are delivered through feelings of discomfort. As Louise Hay insightfully noted, our emotions serve as the messengers of our soul. When something aligns with our well-being, we experience it fully with our entire body and heart, feeling it deeply. Yes, admitting to yourself that you need to change can indeed be quite painful. It's really uncomfortable to face the prospect of completing a certain stage of life. This can create fear, feelings of emptiness, or even insecurity. However, this is exactly where the immense power lies. Every single time you choose to put your inner peace above all the external drama, life generously rewards you with deeper and more realized relationships, more authentic experiences, and a much stronger connection to yourself. And here's something important to understand. Saying goodbye doesn't necessarily mean expressing anger or being selfish. Letting go of someone who doesn't bring positivity into your life anymore doesn't imply that they are bad. It simply means that their presence no longer aligns with the path you're currently on. People evolve, you evolve, and sometimes our paths separate, not due to a lack of love, but because a certain chapter of our lives has reached its logical end. Our subconscious mind, as Louise Hay so brilliantly explained, also communicates with us through an inner feeling of resistance, through that mental struggle that emerges when you consider distancing yourself. Yet, a part of you clings desperately to the hope that with just a bit more effort, things might improve once more. However, the reality is that true growth doesn't feel like an endless battle. Personal growth shouldn't feel like an unhealing wound. Every relationship faces challenges, but there's a big difference between tackling them together and holding on to a bond that's already broken. The signs are always there, waiting for you to find the courage to notice them. The absence of any joyful anticipation when you think about meeting this person, the heavy emotional burden you experience after each conversation, the instances of sadness you strive to overlook, trying to persuade yourself that everything is all right, even though your heart has already decided otherwise long ago. Sometimes, being in a relationship feels like a constant struggle, draining your energy, as if you're paying too much to sustain something that's lost its spark. In contrast, healthy relationships rejuvenate you, nourish you, and let you breathe freely. You shouldn't have to compromise your well-being to maintain them. This holds true for all relationships, including those we call love or feel deeply connected to. When someone's actions consistently cause you harm, it's a significant moment for profound self-reflection. It's beneficial to ask yourself, what elements of my personality are aligning with this experience? It's probable that this person is serving as a mirror, highlighting your struggles with establishing healthy boundaries. Perhaps he or she is bringing to light old emotional wounds, unmet needs, or unconscious behavioral patterns that you might not have been aware of. Embracing this viewpoint, influenced by Louise Hay's philosophy, allows for transformation. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start viewing events as valuable lessons. You regain the sense of control over your life and understand that everyone in your life has a purpose. Some remain forever, while others appear just to teach you a crucial lesson. When their mission is complete, life signals it, even if the goodbye feels too soon. At this crucial time, you must choose whether to hold on to what you know, though it may hurt, or to bravely step into the unknown, trusting you deserve more. Clinging to the past feels simpler, as it's familiar, even if it brings pain. But releasing it shows faith, trust in life, and most importantly, in yourself. It's about embracing the reality that not every relationship is meant to last forever. It's about trusting that the space created by letting go is not a loss, but rather an invitation for something new, more fitting, and truly genuine to enter your life. Throughout life's journey, we encounter many individuals whose destinies are intertwined with ours. Some leave a lasting impression on our personal history, while others are with us for just a brief time. Some are meant to show us the profound depths of love, while others highlight the areas where we still need to heal and grow. Some individuals enter our lives to offer love, while others come to reveal our unhealed wounds. However, every person, without any exception, appears in our lives with a specific mission to teach us something valuable. When a relationship has fulfilled its purpose, the universe begins to send us signs which can be subtle at times, or at other times quite deafening, urging us to recognize the conclusion of this stage. The greatest mistake we can make is to ignore these signals. Do not hold on to something that no longer resonates with your true self, simply because you fear being alone. As Louise Hay wisely noted, the true danger is not merely loneliness, but rather being surrounded by individuals who do not allow you to be your authentic self. And you know what? The real value of a relationship isn't determined by its duration or how long it lasts, but rather by the impact it has had on your personal growth and development. A person can be in your life for many years, yet never become a true source of emotional support. Meanwhile, a brief and fleeting encounter can significantly change your entire worldview. This is the essence of the soul, as it does not adhere to the calendar, but instead responds to genuine and heartfelt connections. Personal development cannot occur without the act of letting go. To progress forward, it is crucial to release the old. Life cannot be filled with new experiences if one clings to what has already served its purpose. Just like trees that shed their leaves in the fall, not out of resignation, but due to a need to prepare for the rebirth that comes with spring, we also must learn to let go. Not just out of pain, but truly out of wisdom. Letting go might appear daunting at first. It challenges us with the void, the unknown, and the awkward pause between what has passed and what is yet to come. However, this space is not a loss. Instead, it is fertile ground, a blank canvas, and a wonderful opportunity for a new beginning. When you trust in the universe and take a step forward without having all the answers, life can hold amazing surprises. New people enter your life, new horizons open up, and most importantly, you rediscover yourself in unexpected ways. Louise Hay often reminded us that whenever we take actions grounded in self-love, life has a way of aligning itself in our favor. Therefore, the important question isn't about whether it's easy, but about whether it's truly worth it. Is it really worth staying in a relationship that dims your light simply because you're afraid of the unknown? Is it worth it to ignore your intuition just to avoid the changes that might come? Is it worth delaying your personal growth out of fear of the temporary discomfort that comes with letting go? Rather than resisting these signals, embrace them as hidden gifts. Every signal is a clue, a compass indicating the direction to where you genuinely belong. Life isn't trying to take anything from you or punish you. Quite the opposite. It aims to liberate you from what no longer serves, confines, or aligns with your soul. However, that choice is yours to make. And the time to act is not someday later, but right now. Ultimately, the more you put off doing something, the more challenging it will get. What seems like a minor issue today might escalate into a major crisis by tomorrow. Initially, it might just be a small doubt, an uncomfortable conversation, or a minor health problem that you choose to overlook. However, if you continue to ignore these warning signs, they will grow stronger, evolving into significant conflicts and difficult lessons. All of this happens to compel you to face what you've been avoiding for such a long time. Feeling that something no longer fits, the intuitive realization that this person no longer resonates with you, is not just a figment of your imagination. It is truly your inner self pushing for change, calling for growth. However, often fear is stronger. We tend to prefer convincing ourselves that everything is fine, that we can be patient, and that things will improve over time, even though deep down we know the truth. We can sense when a relationship is no longer the same, when its mission is truly complete. This reveals itself through the waning of what was once a strong passion, through conversations that lack meaning, through laughter that becomes scarce, and through endless arguments that seem to have no resolution. All of this is not a call to battle, but rather a signal that it might be time to bring this chapter to a close. Letting go is not a sign of defeat. Louise Hay shares with us a paradoxical truth. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, but rather the ultimate expression of self-love. It is a deliberate choice to honor your life journey, to have faith in a brighter future, and to open up space for new opportunities to enter your life. Letting go involves understanding the significance of the experience, taking the lessons learned to heart, and moving forward without being weighed down by past events. Many individuals wrongly think that letting go equates to giving up. In reality, it requires immense bravery to release something cherished yet no longer beneficial. Louise Hay inspires us to pay attention to our inner voice, which frequently reveals itself as a feeling of unease when we need to suppress our uniqueness to satisfy the expectations of others. When companionship starts to feel like a burden and anxiety pushes away any sense of calm, it is a signal from the subconscious mind indicating a need for change. However, we often choose to ignore these signs due to the fear of making tough decisions. How many times have we forgiven those who have caused us pain, or turned a blind eye to situations just to avoid confronting reality? We hold on tightly to memories of past happiness, using them to justify what is no longer effective or fulfilling. But time is relentless, and the past can't be undone. Clinging to illusions steals our chance to live now. A healthy relationship allows growth, where everyone can be themselves, openly. You can't thrive where you must hide your true self. If someone's presence makes you doubt, maybe it's not where your soul belongs. Fear tends to whisper about the threats of loneliness and the risk of being misunderstood, yet we must not allow ourselves to believe those whispers. It isn't actually the other person who keeps us confined, but rather the narrative we create for ourselves, convincing us that we require someone else to truly experience life's fullness. Releasing this belief means opening a door to change, which can lead to something greater and more genuine. You cannot fully reach your potential if you remain surrounded by individuals who drag you back to the past. Feeling guilty for wanting to quit isn't selfish, it's a sign of growth. Louise Hay taught that by staying true to ourselves, we become authentic. The subconscious mind sends signals constantly: the sadness behind a smile, the fatigue after a seemingly calm day, the inner whisper hinting at something more. Ignoring these signs risks leading to situations where hiding the truth becomes impossible. The discomfort grows steadily, and what you once managed to tolerate starts to feel like a heavy stone pressing on your chest. Eventually, a pivotal moment arrives when you have to make a decision. Will you keep denying your feelings, or will you find the courage to confront the truth and prioritize yourself? Surrendering doesn't mean giving in to love, but rather succumbing to fear. We weren't brought into this world to live in fear. When the struggle persists, even after we've tried our hardest, it's important to question whether continuing is truly worth it. This is not merely a call to flee from difficulties, but rather a wise decision that arises from understanding that all strength has been completely exhausted and the soul is pleading for release. Letting go does not mean you are falling out of love. Instead, it signifies loving yourself enough to avoid harming yourself by maintaining a connection that no longer brings any joy. It is an act of respect for one's own path in life, acknowledging that what is truly meant to come will arrive without any coercion or self-sacrifice. Is it truly worth holding on to the things that prevent your growth and development? If you recognize these signs, this inner whisper, this tension building in your body, this intuition that simply cannot be ignored, then it's time to pause, take a deep breath, and really listen to yourself. There are certain truths that can no longer remain hidden. Perhaps now is the perfect moment to choose yourself and trust that by making space for the new, you will allow what genuinely suits your needs to enter and enrich your life. Accepting the end of something can be quite challenging. The ego tends to resist, the mind searches for excuses, and the heart is filled with doubt. However, as Louise Hay wisely pointed out, letting go is not necessarily an end, but rather a transition, an opportunity for opening. By moving through this process with self-love, you will discover a life that aligns more closely with your true self. Sometimes the signal doesn't present itself as a loud cry, but instead as a persistent feeling. Joy gradually turns into exhaustion. The past starts to weigh heavier than the present, and each day you find yourself drifting further away from who you truly are. This is a clear signal that doesn't need any further explanation. You shouldn't have to hide your discomfort and wait for a change that will never happen. Choosing yourself isn't about being selfish, it's about showing emotional maturity. It's about understanding that you deserve to be in a relationship that truly inspires and uplifts you. You shouldn't have to settle for anything less and remain in a place where your light dims. When you ultimately make the decision to let go, that's when the magic truly begins to happen. You start to reconnect with your inner self, and your energy levels are rejuvenated. Your body begins to feel much lighter, and your mind becomes significantly clearer. The emotional burden you've been carrying for such a long time starts to fade away. Although initially it may hurt, keep in mind that the pain of releasing it is only temporary. In contrast, the pain of remaining in a place where you don't truly belong can linger and haunt you indefinitely. This message is meant for those who have quietly endured far more than they should have, for those who recognize that it's time to finish a chapter but don't yet have the courage to do so. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. All of us, at some point, have faced the fear, the resistance, and that inner voice that tells us it's time to move on, even if you still care deeply. But the truly important thing is not what you leave behind. but rather what is waiting for you in the future. I can assure you that by choosing your peace, you will discover something truly beautiful, far beyond what you might have expected. If this message touched your heart, please feel free to share your thoughts and feelings. Your personal experience can be incredibly helpful to others who are seeking clarity in their own chaos. Together, we can build a space where more people feel empowered to choose peace, liberate themselves from pain, and open up to life, where self-love becomes the foundation and starting point. Change starts when you listen to yourself, and that can be today.